distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our global online audience, good evening and good morning. Welcome to the 2021 Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference. And my name is Margaret Han. I'm so honored to be invited as a host for today's great event. On behalf of the North American Representative Office of Shenzhen, China, and the Canada Confederation of the Shenzhen Association, I would like just to extend our great, very warm to welcome all of you. Now I'm standing at the Simplex Media Auditorium in Toronto, and our conference today will be connected to Shenzhen and also the LA, and the whole conference will be live streamed by YouTube and also through the Simplex 600 News. As we all know, this year we have faced great challenges, and how are we going to deal with that? Innovation, investment, and business have never been so important to solve these issues when we face the world's great challenges during and post-pandemics. In today's conference, we're aims to bring Canadian and Chinese government officials, leaders of professional and community associations, entrepreneurs, business elite, and investors together. We hope through this event, we can empower the investors and entrepreneurs, while we can just give you some deep insight on the investment opportunities in Shenzhen, while shedding the light on the country's very friendly policy frameworks and enabling environment. And also, we hope to promote the connections and collaborations in economic and business, especially in the innovation part, just to enhance the trade and bilateral investment between Shenzhen and Toronto. We hope our exciting contents that we prepared for you will be fruitful and also engaging. So now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem of Canada and People's Republic of China. Before we get into the conference, I would like to introduce a few distinguished guests. First is Ms. Jenny Chi, the chair of Canada Confederation of Shenzhen Association. And second is Mr. Denzel Minnan Wang, our deputy mayor of the city of Toronto. Ms. Sandy Gao the Municipal Economic and Trade Representative Office in North America, and she is a representative from the North American office. And she is going to join us by Zoom because she is now currently located in LA. And the next one is MPP Iris Babkin, and MPP Daisy Y, MPP Billy Palm, the former Minister of the Research and Innovation and Science, Mr. Reza Maradi, and Toronto City Councillor, Mr. Nick Mendes, Markham City Councillor, Ms. Amanda Glucci, and Markham City Councillor, Ms. Isak Lee. And we also have several successful entrepreneur representatives here with us. Mr. Michael Wang, the CEO of the Taplock, and Mr. Cameron Turbo. He is a brand director of China's nanoleaf energy technology, and he is currently in Shenzhen. He will join us later by Zoom as well. And the next one is Mr. Palin Matali. He is the CEO of the Micro Interface Design and the GP at Arch Angel Networks of Funds. And next one is Ms. Dana Zhang. She is the VP of the Scotiabank and honorary president of the CCFA, Canadian Chinese Financial Association. And the last one is Dr. Haixing Chen. He is the president of the ACGT. I just would like to give you a highly appreciate you take your time of your busy schedule to join us today. And also, we would like to extend our great appreciations for the great help and support from the dedicated members and the directors of the CCCA, the Canadian Confederation of the Shenzhen Association. They are Ai Fengxia, Deng Yifá, Jian Jinghong, Chen Shaoneng, Chen Hanjun, Alex Liang, Rebecca Zhou, Joyce Lee, Xu Shuang, Yang Chang, Li Yanxiang. Thank you so much for your great support. And our conference today also received great support from Canadians' three-level government leaders. Though they cannot join us in person, but they have sent their greeting letters. We have got the greeting letters from the Senator Victor O, MPP Vincent Ke, Toronto City Councillor Cynthia Lai, Markham City Councillor and the Chair of the Cultural and Economic Development Committee, Mr. Alan Ho, the Richmond Hill Councillor, Mr. Godwin Chang, and the Councillor of the City Vaughan, Ms. Sandra Ranko. They all have sent their greeting letters to us. Thank you so much for your support. And now, let's just formally kick off our conference. It is my great pleasure to invite the Chair of the Canada Confederation of the Shenzhen Association, Ms. Jenny Chi, to deliver her opening remarks.
各位领导、各位来宾，大家早上好。Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Shenzhen is one of the most vibrant cities in the world. She is the first competitive and open city in China. Toronto is the largest city in economic scale in Canada. Both Shenzhen and Toronto are strong in innovation, open to immigrants, and welcoming diversity. Shenzhen has its unique advantages in global supply chain, while Toronto plays a leading role in R&D. The cooperation between the two cities is very prospective in innovation, trade, and human resource. 深圳是一个创新之都，是中国的硅谷，是最具有发展潜力、适合创新创业的城市，也是中国城市竞争力排名第一和对外开放程度最高的城市。而多伦多则是加拿大最大的城市和经济龙头。深圳和多伦多同为创新型和移民城市，同样都崇尚创新与多元文化。那么5年前呢，在我们加拿大深圳社团联合总会的积极推动下，深圳和加拿大的多伦多市签订友好交流合作备忘录，两市缔结为友好交流城市，进一步促进了双城之间在经济、科技、文化、教育、医疗等领域的交流与合作，实现了互利共赢。5年来，我们积极参与并见证了深圳与多伦多之间日益增长的交流与合作。今天的2021深圳全球招商大会多伦多分会场是深圳全球招商大会的重要内容之一。希望通过此次活动，全面地展现深圳的经济活力、创新动力、城市魅力和投资潜力， 期待未来深圳与加拿大在创新、文化、教育、商贸等方面进一步加强交流与合作，实现优势互补、信息共享、合作共赢。Over the past 5 years, Canada Confederation of Shenzhen Associations has actively built a bridge between Shenzhen and Toronto City. We promote two cities to be friendship cities. Today, the Toronto section of 2021 Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference will demonstrate Shenzhen's economic vitality, innovation power, and more importantly, its unique charm in openness to cooperation. We look forward to have more collaboration between Shenzhen and Toronto, Shenzhen and Canada in innovation and trade and more other fields. 最后，预祝本次活动圆满成功，感谢大家的支持。Finally, I wish the event a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. We know Miss Jenny Chi has done a lot of work and dedicated for over the 5 years to bridging the East and the West. And now she and her associations and along with all the friends here, just to have created such a wonderful platform and hold great events like today. So we're going to see more and more of the great opportunities between us. And next, we're going to look at the greetings from Mr. Shang Chen, our member of the parliament from the Scarborough North.
大家好，我是陈新言. Hello, this is Sean Chen, Member of Parliament for Scarborough North. And I'm so delighted to bring greetings on this wonderful occasion of the Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference, organized by the Confederation of Shenzhen Associations. This is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to gather, to share ideas, to promote innovation, and to develop business-to-business and people-to-people ties between Canada and Shenzhen. Canada and China have a long-standing friendship that is built on our strong social, cultural, and economic ties. And through initiatives like this, we will only be able to work together for further mutual prosperity. Thank you for organizing today's event, and I hope you have a most successful and productive meeting. 谢谢大家. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you so much of the great leaders that you have served a great deal just to make this happen. And now let's welcome our Deputy Mayor of the City of Toronto, Mr. Denzel Ming Wang. Come on stage to address your speech.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hi, Jenny. Jenny's in Shenzhen. Yeah, thanks very much. I also wanted to recognize my colleague, Nick Mantis. Councillor Mantis is the newest member of Toronto City Council, and it's really great for him to be here joining us today. So thanks, Nick. I want to say thank you to Jenny Chi and the Shenzhen community of Toronto and the city of Shenzhen. 5 years ago, we signed a friendship agreement, and that has actually been very, very successful. The Canadian Shenzhen Association has established an office in the Toronto area to foster and promote economic and cultural development between our cities. And I can tell you there aren't a lot of agreements that we have between other cities or other countries that make that type of investment. It has established the largest innovation and tech competition in Canada. Reza has been former Minister Moridi has been one of the judges in those competitions. We were also able, through this cooperation, to enter into a relationship with our transit authority, the TTC, to purchase electric buses from BYD for the Toronto Transit Commission. The enthusiasm of the Shenzhenese is is really impressive. They work hard to achieve results. They work at Shenzhen speed. And that is why I like to work with Jenny and her team. I know that if you've ever experienced Shenzhen speed, it has nothing, the word impatience, impatience is very much in the Shenzhenese culture, and they don't like to waste any time. The COVID pandemic has slowed us down a bit, but it's time to look to the future. Toronto has become one of the leading cities in COVID vaccination, with about 85% of the population double vaxxed. And while business and enterprise has slowed down, a vaccinated population is the cornerstone to economic prosperity and getting back to normal. We already see economic growth increasing in Toronto to 4% next year. Unemployment rates continue to fall as more people come back to work. And we are very optimistic that Toronto's economy will come back better than ever. Toronto still ranks as one of the best cities in the world. We are the fourth largest city in North America. Most importantly, we are seen as one of the most livable cities in the world by The Economist magazine. So we attract top talent. That is why we are ranked one of the best cities for tech talent and are viewed as the second best city in the ranking of cities of the future. Our banking system is strong, as is our fintech sector. And our construction industry is second only to New York City in North America. Toronto also has one of the best educational systems with 4 universities and 4 community colleges, plus we have a very healthy biotech sector. And finally, Toronto's startup ecosystem is the largest in Canada and ranks in the global top 20 in most active startups. And many of the people here in this room know this, and that's why they've made Toronto their home. And these reasons are why Shenzhen and Toronto have such a bright future, because we have so much in common. We are great cities with great people and great ambition to build prosperity for our families and for the future. As we move forward to the next phase of our relationship, I look forward in strengthening the bonds between our two cities, culturally and economically. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dezel. And thank you so much just to sharing the Toronto's economic opportunities and also with Shenzhen. And we have done a lot, and we hope to do more. And I really agree with you, and I think the people here, we're going to align with you that we're going to have a brighter future together if we hand in hand together. And now let's just we know that for the 40 years past that Shenzhen has developed so fast, and it has established China's first economic zone, a very special economic zone. And it was just a very small fishing village, and now it is just a symbol of China's reform and opening up. So it transformed a lot and become an industry financial megacity, and now it has become an innovation center in China as well. So let's just look at a VCR to learn a little bit more about this wonderful city.
In 1987, Ren Zhenfei founded Huawei in Shenzhen with just $2,985 or 20,000 RMB. Today, that small business has grown to become the largest telecom equipment manufacturer in the world.
深圳有一个很好的创新环境，法治环境啊，市场环境都会比别的地方好。
In 1995, Wang Chuanfu began a startup from a node workshop. Today, BYD has grown into a new energy vehicle pioneer.
比亚迪跟深圳一样，充满了创新的血液。
In 2006, DJI launched Strum at Shenzhen Bay. Now the company dominates 70% of the drone market worldwide.
大疆的快速发展离不开深圳良好的营商。
Adjacent to Hong Kong and Macau, Shenzhen is home to the world's third largest container port, Asia's largest land port, and one of China's 5 largest airports, with direct flights to 60 cities around the world. The newly built Shenzhen World Exhibition and Convention Center is the world's largest pavilion.
Shenzhen, with the world's largest exhibition center, is going to be bringing huge new opportunities for everybody.
喺深圳嘅港口面向國際，而家你睇到嘅咧，歐美航線為主力，地中海全球我諗超過200個點。
Shenzhen is an important portal to China market for global investors and a major springboard for Chinese brands aiming to go global. From BYD electric buses plying their routes in London to Huawei erecting the 5G sites across more than 100 countries worldwide, and the CIMC containers in Tokyo's ports, Shenzhen is open for business and is combining global supply chain resources in a profound way.
So things that we are making smaller, that requires different chipsets. In Shenzhen, you have a very, very large ecosystem of partners. This is why Shenzhen is important.
Shenzhen is home to Qianhai 1 bonded area, Futian bonded zone, Yantian Comprehensive Bonded Zone, and Shenzhen Export Processing Zone, which serves as important platforms for an open economy and for foreign investment in Shenzhen. With innovation in its gene, Shenzhen has attracted investors around the globe and ranks first in China in terms of startup density.
深圳为腾讯这样的公司提供了最佳的创业、创新和成长环境。
Shenzhen clearly is one of the key centers. Many different industries are really pushing the frontiers of digitization.
Aiming to create an ecosystem for technology innovation, Shenzhen takes a head start in 5G, IoT, AI, blockchain, and other emerging industries.
The risk-taking profile, the need for speed, the need for testing new ideas, that mindset can be found here as it's found in Silicon Valley.
来深圳就是看中了深圳的这个创新产业的优势，我们在深圳创立了首个全球创新研发中心。
Shenzhen remains steadfast in building a more market-oriented, legalized, international, and convenient business environment with growing economic volume, solid industrial foundation, leading technologies, and efficient government service. It has been vigorously energized by finance, business, and logistics.
大湾区につきましては、中国、新鮮人ともに発展する大きな構想というふうに考えています。弊社としても非常に興味深くこの構想を考えています。
Shenzhen is one of China's most financialized cities. Shenzhen is an international consumer center with strong commercial atmosphere and consumption being a new growth driver.
And a new generation of consumers have a strong desire for innovation and change. Therefore, we are confident in investing more in Shenzhen, and we are willing to work together with the Shenzhen government to try to win the future.
Shenzhen is gradually becoming a globally competitive international logistics hub.
深圳政府创造的这个环境，让我们走向科技物流打造了很多条件，所以我非常有信心。
Shenzhen is a national forest city with a plethora of parks and over 45% urban green coverage rates. It blesses its citizens to push windows to see the green, open doors to see the garden. With one of the 8 most beautiful coasts in China at the east.
I see the innovation and I see creativity. The city is still a green city.
Mountains, sea, great energy, great people, innovation, and excitement.
We are looking forward to sailing with you to build a winning future in this promising land. Invest in Shenzhen. Build a winning future.
A legendary city, huh? After watching that, I want to go there and just as they said, we want to build a win-win, a winning situation, a winning future for all of us. In that way that we can all just stand in the frontier of the world. And so we know today we have connected with the Shenzhen meeting areas and also the LA. So there are 3 places all together. We are holding this conference all together. So is that possible? Our assistants can switch the camera to our Shenzhen meeting. So the other side of the world. Let's just say hi to them. Hello, hi. I saw Miss Jenny Chi. Hello, hi. And also the member.
Hi. Good morning. I'm Jenny. Here we are around like 11 o'clock in the night. But we all miss you guys. And we are very so glad to meet you in the online. Thank you for your support and coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for joining us. And we know it is very, very late in your part, but we have another lady have get up very, very early for our conference. That is the Sunny. Sunny, I saw you, the camera is there, and let me introduce you more properly. So Sunny, Miss Sunny Gao, she is from the Municipal Economic Trade Representative Office in North America, and she's going to introduce us more updated information regarding Shenzhen's enabling business and investment environment and supporting policies. And Sunny, hi.
Hi.
Hello. I know it is quite early in the west coast of North America, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. And now I just give the stage to you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sunny Gao, and I'm with the North American Representative Office of Shenzhen. Thank you for joining us today. Then now I'll share my screen and start my presentation. Please give me a second. Okay, it's my pleasure to have this opportunity to briefly introduce to you the city of Shenzhen. 40 years ago, Shenzhen was only a small fishing village, but now it has grown into a dynamic international and innovation-oriented metropolis. It's a place full of energy, vitality, and creativity. First, Shenzhen has a superior location and a vibrant economy. Then where is Shenzhen? Shenzhen is a coastal city in South China, located in the southern part of Guangdong province, closely connected to Hong Kong. As a window for China to open to the world, Shenzhen has developed a sound logistics infrastructure and network. and is the only city in China with land, sea, air, and rail ports of entry. And now, Shenzhen has 4 special customs supervision zones. By the end of 2020, Shenzhen's population exceeded 23 million, achieved a GDP of RMB 2.77 trillion, and ranked 5th in Asia in terms of economic aggregate. The density of entrepreneurship in Shenzhen ranks first in China. 450 domestic and foreign listed companies have settled down in Shenzhen. In 2020, Shenzhen also ranked first in total export volume among China's large and medium-sized cities for 28 consecutive years. Second, Shenzhen is the engine of the Greater Bay Area. One of the major topics about China these days is around Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area, which is a cluster of uprising cities centered around Shenzhen and Hong Kong. A new center of gravity of China's economic activity has been formed swiftly in this area. The Greater Bay Area boasts a high level of openness, strong economic vitality, the most dynamic technological innovation, and the most concentrated population. Shenzhen is identified as an important core engine of the Bay Area, which is the youngest, most educated, most talented, and capital-rich region in China, with unparalleled infrastructures and industrial chains. Third, Shenzhen is a popular choice for foreign investors. Shenzhen has been a policy testbed for China's reform and economic liberalization. Now it's taking the lead in financial deregulation that will facilitate free trade and cross-border capital flows. Shenzhen has always been considered as a destination for investment by foreign investors. By the end of 2020, Shenzhen had attracted investors from more than 170 countries and regions, and approved nearly 100,000 foreign direct investment projects. In recent years, Fortune 500 companies have increased investment greatly in Shenzhen. Nearly 300 of the Fortune 500 companies have invested in Shenzhen. Multinational companies settle down in Shenzhen one after another. A total of 242 projects were signed in the 2020 Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference. Speaking of Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference, our event today is part of the 2021 Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference series events that are happening in 8 cities across 5 continents from September to November this year. The business and cultural exchange activities have been enormous between Shenzhen and foreign countries. But the pandemic created a lot of hurdles for people that are doing business or seeking opportunities. This platform makes sure we keep the communication and information exchange going by having virtual and in-person conferences in different cities around the world. Okay, let's go back to the introduction of Shenzhen's business environment. Fourth, Shenzhen is China's Silicon Valley with fully equipped carriers. The number of PCT international patent applications in Shenzhen has been at the top of the country for 17 years in a row. Shenzhen's innovation capability also ranks first among national innovative cities. Shenzhen is home to many local enterprises with global competitiveness, such as Tencent, BYD, and DJI. Fifth, Shenzhen is the leading industrial and commercial city. High-tech, finance, modern logistics, and cultural and creative industries are 4 industrial pillars in Shenzhen. Meanwhile, Shenzhen is accelerating the development of emerging industries centering on green and low-carbon emission, new materials, the marine economy, and so on. As a young city whose residents have an average age of only 32.5 years old, Shenzhen has very strong spending power. Shenzhen is seeking support to build a duty-free city in the Greater Bay Area and set it as an example of an urban duty-free shop. 6. Shenzhen values intellectual property rights and provides first-class services. Shenzhen has always been at the forefront of innovation in intellectual property rights in China, providing strong support for Shenzhen's business environment. Shenzhen ranked first in terms of intellectual property indicators in the National Business Environment Evaluation, and ranked first among 156 participating cities in the annual Administrative Protective Performance Assessment. Seventh, Shenzhen is an immigrant city with a beautiful environment. Just like Toronto, Shenzhen is also a typical immigrant city. We are all diverse, open, and inclusive. There's a city slogan in Shenzhen which says, "If you come, you are a Shenzhener." I don't think there are many cities in China have the confidence to say that. When metropolis comes to mind, most people think of a city like this, a skyline lined with towering buildings within an expanding megacity. Yes, it is, but in Shenzhen, you can dream more. That tech hub has ample green space, and that's not by chance, as city planners have long maintained a green vision. As a national forest city, Shenzhen has more than 1,200 parks of various sizes. Therefore, Shenzhen has been dubbed the City of Thousand Gardens. They are like a green net, connecting Shenzhen's rich and diverse natural ecological resources. Besides, Shenzhen has one of the 8 most beautiful coastlines in China, was rated as one of the 31 places to go in the world by the New York Times. Eighth, Shenzhen is building smart city with complete infrastructure. The construction of Shenzhen's smart city is people-oriented and provides attentive services. What impressed me most is that you can travel in the city without ID and cash. The only thing you need is your smartphone. When you get a bill, you notice QR codes. Here in Shenzhen, they are used by locals to pay for just about everything. Simply scan the code and the money is transferred. Technology makes life more convenient, right? The city is working hard so that everyone can enjoy a smart life. There is a lot to expect about the future of Shenzhen. Many futuristic industrial and innovation centers, modern communities, and special economic zones are under planning and construction. Highly open and innovative system, effective allocation of funds and professionals, fair legal system, transparent governance. That's Deloitte's comments on Shenzhen. Let's see what Qualcomm said. Complete industrial chain for manufacturing and hardware. Open, fair, and practical business and innovation environment. I say, Shenzhen is a place where dreams can be made into reality. How about you? We welcome you all to visit Shenzhen and see for yourselves and growing together with our great city. Thank you again, and I look forward to connecting with you if you need any further information.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Thank you so much for staying so early for us and bring the warmth to Toronto and the sunshine to Shenzhen. And I think that we have learned, at least personally, I have learned a lot from you, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of people to contact you later. And we know, just as you said, thank you. And we know, just as you said, that Shenzhen has been dubbed the Silicon Valley of China. And as the hub of the innovation and the invention, the Shenzhen, we know it is the paradise for entrepreneurs, for high-flying tech international students and companies just to join this technology revolutions. And today, we are so lucky we have invited several Canadian entrepreneurs who have built their successful business and made their dream come true in Shenzhen. So we always see that seeing is believing, right? So now, without further ado, I would like to give a warmest applause to Mr. Michael Wang, the CEO of the TapLock. Just please come up stage to share your amazing journey from Canada to Shenzhen.
家好，我是 Michael 王，齐主席和刘会长在国内祖国的同胞们，大家好。My name is Michael, and it's very nice to be here today, seeing all of these beautiful faces in person after a very long time of working from home. And I run a company called TapLock. We make smart fingerprint padlocks, basically the tiny little lock devices that you have on your lockers, except you can unlock using your fingerprint and manage using your phones. So I was asked to share a little bit about our experience in setting up our presence in China, and that's going to have to take us all the way back to the very beginning in 2016, when me and my partner first started the business. We started with very little resources, close to no capital, a very small team of 3 people, no prior experience in the security industry, and also no connections. So we started with a Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign where people who are interested in the product could pre-order a product that they see that they like. And we ended up doing an okay job, raising about $300,000. But more importantly, we had a lot of bulge-bracket large tech media outlets cover our product. So along with that, we raised our first angel investment round, which some of the angel investors in the round were actually founding members of SCI and members of CCSA, organizer of this event today. So they pointed us back to manufacturing in Shenzhen, China, which we took our product and this opportunity to. And that's when we discovered why hardware is called hardware, because manufacturing apparently is very, very hard. Just in a small locking device like ours, there's close to 50 different components. And with each of these different components, from drafting specification, testing, and design for manufacturing, there's a lot of trial and error involved. And every time there's an improvement, it's not really like software where you can just change a couple of lines of code and compile the code and it becomes the new software that you're looking for. It takes a lot of time and you're dealing with physical components, so it's very costly. And typically from design to mass production, it will take a company around 2 years to fully ship a product. However, 2 years in startup terms is a very long time because a lot of big players in the industry are already eyeing different opportunities to innovate. And once you announce,
as our deputy mayor mentioned earlier, that the Shenzhen speed is quite fascinating. And an illustration of that would be if we were to manufacture anywhere else in the world, whether it's in Austin, Texas, or Silicon Valley, in our design for manufacturing process, if one component doesn't work out, we will have to do a lot of research on alternative components offered by suppliers and compare their different specifications, pricing, negotiate. Once we place the order and they ship the product, and when it arrives at our assembly plant, it will take weeks. And once the component arrives, if that doesn't work, we have to start the process all over again. And you can see how that process can quickly build up time, valuable time it takes for us to get the product to market. However, in Shenzhen, what would typically happen is that in the morning, if a component doesn't work out, we could speak to our network of suppliers who have a wealth of experience in dealing with different products and scenarios. So they've seen a lot of the problems occur and know various people that we should talk to around the city. And because all the suppliers and manufacturers are packed so closely together, that we are able to send someone in the morning via a cab, which will cost around $20 Canadian, to the other side of the city. And after we finish our lunch break, the component will be back in the assembly plant, and we can solve the problem and move on to the next. And that's how we're able to quickly shorten that 2-year horizon into a 6-month period, and we're always ahead of the curve. So when our competitors in the industry, some of them are very large, publicly listed security companies, came out with their product in year 2, we are already on our 2nd and 3rd generation product. So that's how we were able to maintain our competitive advantage. And currently we're running a model where our headquarters is based here in Toronto, where we run our R&D, marketing, and sales. So we're able to tap into the global market, and we're also able to take advantage of the supply chain and production in China, Shenzhen. So I think that's a very powerful model that's worked really well for us and some of other hardware tech founders. However, unfortunately, this model is not readily available to all the tech founders out there. I have a lot of friends who are in the hardware industry who have very challenging production cycles and very expensive, and it's dragged on for a really long time. And a lot of times they missed critical opportunities to dominate the market just because of this long.
That we could do to help facilitate and accelerate that process, would not hesitate to do it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for sharing your secret of success with us. And we're looking forward to many more the talents from the Toronto, from Canada, to shine up in a bigger stage like you. And we're going to have more and more top-like successful story to share with other people. And it is a great, great Canadian brand manufactured in China and benefit to the people around the world. And now, let's just connect to our next guest speaker, who is currently located in Shenzhen. So, can we switch to Shenzhen and say hello to camera? Hello, hi. The camera.
Hello.
Hi. So, thank you so much for to stay so late for us. And we know that you are the brand director for the Nanoleaf. And I am teaching at University of Toronto, so we know that Nanoleaf was born there. The co-founders is our alumni, and would you like to share with us the legendary story? So how Nanoleaf made it to born in Canada and made it to Shenzhen to get your capital, the first kickoff capital, and to produce the Light Boss. I think Light Boss and now has been exported to many, many countries just in a very, very short time. How do you do that? Would you like to share your stories?
Yeah, happy to share. Hello to everyone in Toronto. Very happy to be here at today's conference. And first of all, just want to thank the good people at the Confederation of Shenzhen Associations and the Sino-Canadian International Innovation Center in Shenzhen as well for reaching out to me and inviting me to take part in this event. I've had some great experiences working with people at SCI in the past, and they have done and continue to do a great job of supporting Canadian innovation in Shenzhen, and really happy to be here to share a little bit of insight today. Quick introduction about me. So my name is Cameron, and I'm originally from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and I've been in China for almost a decade now. I work in Shenzhen for Canadian smart lighting company Nanoleaf, and I'm also a board director for the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in the Pearl River Delta. So as has kind of been alluded to, Nanoleaf is really an outstanding success story in terms of Canadian innovation and talent, taking advantage of a lot of the infrastructure and the resources available in Shenzhen to really springboard into international success. At this point, the company has really become one of the leaders in modular smart lighting technology. And our products now in North America and Europe have been selling for some time and are reaching 70 countries around the world, and online and in major retailers like Best Buy and the Apple Store. And I say that to say that I don't think the success found by Nanoleaf would really be possible without the great resources, talent, and infrastructure in Shenzhen. Nanoleaf founded in 2012, as was mentioned, by 3 young Canadian engineers who had previously studied together at University of Toronto, and relocated to Shenzhen shortly after the company's founding, and got to work kind of developing the first prototype for Nanoleaf products, which was the Nanoleaf 1 smart light bulb, which at the time gained quite a bit of attention and was recognized as the most energy efficient light bulb in the world. And shortly thereafter, Nanoleaf founded their first office in Shenzhen in 2013. And today we have a team of 40 full-time employees in Shenzhen. And so all of our R&D, our product testing, manufacturing, the global logistics, and even more of the software development as well is done in the Shenzhen office by the Shenzhen team. And I think it really speaks to the variety of talent and the variety of support that's available in the city. For a company like ours, where hardware, of course, is such a big part of what we do, Shenzhen is really a great location for us. The city has a long time reputation as being this mecca for the makers of China. And a lot of the prosperity today that you see in the city was really built on the backs of extremely innovative and ambitious and relentless individuals of Shenzhen's consumer electronics manufacturing. So just in a couple of decades, Shenzhen has really taken a really big change and using all of the knowledge and experience gained from being the world's electronics factory to actually start to become a home for true innovation in itself. And the legacy of this transformation, as has been alluded to before, really gives us an environment that's with rich infrastructure, talent, and resources, manufacturing capabilities, and financing, which is all really geared towards making great hardware quickly and efficiently. So, kind of to my 2 cents on it, I guess, in my volunteer capacity with the Chamber of Commerce for Canada, I've seen time and time again on the ground here in Shenzhen just how daunting it can be for Canadian companies, Canadian entrepreneurs, to navigate the environment. And to sum it up, a really good friend of mine in China once said that in Shenzhen, basically, you can't say that anything is easy, but you can say that everything is possible. And I think that sums it up pretty well. So one thing I always implore my Canadian entrepreneur friends and business people when you're starting out in China is to really find those good, like local people and resources that you can rely on to help you navigate the landscape. Part of the reason I helped to found the Canadian Chamber of Commerce was really to provide this kind of soft landing for entrepreneurs entering a new and challenging market. And I know my friends at the SCI Innovation Center in Shenzhen do very, very similar. And we're all just working together to try to keep that bridge strong, keep the communication and the resource sharing between our two countries going. And I know now that we're in the midst of COVID, so the international travel hasn't exactly been easy, but God willing, we'll be back to a somewhat normal life soon. And I really look forward to seeing all of you here on this side of the world at some point. And thank you very much for having me here today, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Very, very fantastic and inspiring stories. And we know Shenzhen is fast, just as you said, the rapid growing technology industry and the talents. This is the reason why this city is ahead of the curve. And we really hope that the pandemic can be can end soon, and we can meet you in person in Shenzhen, or welcome back to Toronto as well. And thank you so much for sharing. And now let's welcome our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Payvant Matali, the CEO of the Micro Interface Design and the GP at Archangel Networks of the Founds. For the people who don't know Payvant is a highly accomplished entrepreneur and angel investors who have successfully launched a multiple business, and he is also an expert in commercializing and growth of the companies in the major fields such as AI, clean tech, and medtech. And he is also a seasoned veteran in the startup process from the initial inceptions to launch. So now let's welcome Mr. Matali on stage to share his experience and observations that how he has do successful business in China. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me today. It's an honor to be here and working with our friends from Shenzhen. And my name is Payvant Malati. I'm an angel investor and also an entrepreneur that have the privilege of working with in China since 2012. It's been 2 years since I've been there first. My quest in doing business in China started in 2011 when we acquired a local company here in Markham and started growing it internationally. And for the first time, we landed in China to be able to sell our product. This is another story from procuring and manufacturing in China. So we start selling our product basically in China and understanding the culture and how we can work together. And we grew rapidly in China through having, as my friends, entrepreneurs basically mentioned here, to having really good partners on the ground, international companies that they could help us to be able to sell product in China in different environments. As our company grew and made significant revenue, we started to invest in the new startups and incubate and accelerate the companies that are specifically working on hardware. And as Michael mentioned, making hardware is really hard. It's really hard to make the devices compared to all the software companies that we see that coming out. And specifically, Shenzhen is a hub that you cannot ignore if you're in hardware products, for procurement, for manufacturing. And as my journey passed by all of the startups, we started a fund, an early stage fund, to specifically invest into companies that they have very strong intellectual properties and also have some level of hardware here. And we've seen quite a lot of change, ups and downs, as far as how they can use this infrastructure that is available in China, what's the challenge they have, and how they can expand into that market and also procure their products from there. What I want to talk about today is my experience as far as what I've seen so far, our startups and how they expanded in China, and also what challenges they've seen so far in moving to that market, and also in procuring the products from here, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. These two eras is quite different. I should say that the creating the products here in Canada, we have a huge pool of talents from different publicly funded universities and accelerators and incubation centers that we could quickly and rapidly create these companies that they go and rapidly expand their products in different markets. So we leverage these public funded research to be able to create these products in different sections of the market. The challenges that we've seen so far is this, as far as creating these products in different sections, as my fellow entrepreneurs mentioned here, is the speed. And the Shenzhen and the infrastructure that they've created, it gives this opportunity to our entrepreneurs to rapidly generate this and go over all of these obstacles that we see in this product. One of the challenges that I have had when I was creating this product is how I can navigate in this new environment, as far as the investment, as far as the productions that I can say, negotiating the contracts that we have. And the key to success for our company was to find local partners in distribution and also in manufacturing and also contract negotiations and what have you. And that created great success for us, not only to sell and manufacture our products in China. We have an office in Jinan, and also a lot of manufacturing in Shenzhen, and also be able to export the product that we make from China to other countries in the region, which was quite successful. And I have to thank this communication that we've had and this openness that we had with the businesses in China, and also now communicating as far as the investment part of investing into startups that we have with that part. At the end, I want to thank my friends here at SCI that created this opportunity for me to do this speech, and thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Around the world, flock to their dreams there. And now, just let's look at a short video to learn a little bit more about how Canadians we lived and have a successful work in China. Okay, so for the VCR.
Countries don't communicate with each other. People communicate with each other. The past several years have been pretty challenging for everybody. and one of our ongoing challenges revolves around Canada-China relations. There are misconceptions by citizens in both of our countries whose impressions are framed by political narratives and not by a real understanding of what it is like on the ground to live and work in each other's countries. And yet, so many Canadians have been over here in China for many years, building businesses, families, new technologies, schools, skyscrapers, and dreams. Here are just a few of many stories of real Canadians living, working, and thriving in China.
I'm Karen Savorniak. I'm a principal with B+H Architects and the president of our Asia operations. B+H is an architectural and interior design firm that was started in Toronto, Canada, over 65 years ago.
I'm Bryce Jenner, originally from Toronto, Whistler, Vancouver. I started a small bar called Big Bamboo, and then that turned into another Big Bamboo and another Big Bamboo, all in Shanghai. We started Pistolero, and then a couple of years ago I started brewing beer.
Hi, I'm Christy Newton, and I am from a small town just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I currently work at the Canadian International School, Kunshan, just outside of Shanghai in China. And I've been here for 6 years.
My name is Ron Ball, born and raised in Oshawa, Ontario. And in 1977, I embarked on the beginnings of manufacture of handrails for escalators.
I'm Mark Seelan. I'm the president of Redgate International. My career path had pretty well been set, but I was given an opportunity to take a leave of absence for 1 year in 2003 to come to China, and I'm now in my 17th year.
I was surprised when I first came over how Western it was, and people dressed like Western, and it was not like I perceived back in Canada from my education in the news, but it was still a very different place where people needed a spot to go and unwind after the day of work and sort of have familiar settings around them. So here I was, Canadian in Shanghai, didn't speak a word of Mandarin, didn't know the people you need to make things happen. So a very important ingredient to starting it off was having the support of my Chinese wife, Lucy, and her family that helped me navigate through the different turbulent waters of setting up business back then it was a Wild West Shanghai. What we have today is a real meshing of the two East and West cultures, which has created what I have now.
People often ask me, how did you end up being in China? Early on, we knew that exporting would be a requirement for our business. China was obviously the place we could see that it was going to grow and become a leading market for us. China now represents 2/3 of our global supply.
Our architects in China actually contribute to designs around the world. So from a company perspective, we've really used our platform here to develop the way we design and work around the world. Really, it's this collaboration of designers working together, different cultures working together, that really create and advance design. B+H has many projects that we're very proud of that have been designed in China. Some of them have become landmarks. For example, the one behind me that we can see out the window here is the K11, or as it was known when we designed it, the New World Tower in Shanghai. The fact that we have been able to be part of the development of China's urban fabric over the past 20 years has greatly enhanced B+H as a firm and as a design house.
Is a good relationship between Canada and China important? Absolutely yes. With all our country has to offer, both in terms of resources and culture and our point of view, if nothing else. And China, with the 1.4 billion people that live here and their need for our product and also for our point of view. How can we not commit to attempting to communicate with each other? It's very important for us and for them.
China's brought me plenty of great opportunities, and I'm not the only one. Far from.
That relationship, that image, and having it flip so that Canadians understand that Chinese people are also some of the nicest people in the world. China was one of the best decisions I could have made. There is so much opportunity here, and if someone is willing to make that jump and step into a whole new world, they will find the opportunity that they're looking for here. I think that the values, the ideas, the principles, the way that people look at the world and interact is extremely similar between my Canadian community, friends and family, and the community and friends and family that I've built here. And I think that that would be the most surprising thing for people to hear at home. It's really not that different. There are differences, but when you get down to the core of it, to the foundation, we're very similar people.
And also to believe that relationships don't exist, that they do exist. First of all, China is our second largest trading partner. And as a Canadian, it's so obvious to me because I live it every day. So I see the Canadian businesses here in China that are doing extremely well, that have done extremely well, that have worked in the Chinese market to develop even new products, new designs, new capabilities, and have prospered by their interaction with China and continue to prosper.
I'm looking upon the 23 years that I've been here as some of the best years in my whole life. Most people in the Western world, not just Canada, but America, they don't have a very good idea on what China is like. I think of Shanghai as being the best city in the world. Certainly the most exciting city in the world. Where else can you go where it is so clean, so safe, so modern, so operationally efficient? I would encourage people to come and visit China and not just read the newspaper, which of course we know is rather sensationalist.
China is not what is projected in the media. It is not what we see over there. It is not what is being presented. And it's unfortunate because China is a wonderful place to live and work and experience. Another thing I would definitely encourage my family and friends back home to do is to learn about it. Do a little bit of reading. Find out what makes China China and approach that information with an open mind and with compassion because it is a really amazing story.
I've had the pleasure of working in China for over 17 years, and I believe that the relationship between our two countries is very critical and essential. Cooperation between countries such as Canada and China are really essential to being able to capture the best of these technologies. We've been able to contribute to projects here that we would never have had the opportunity to in other countries due to the great development that's happened here over the past while. And China is certainly a society that is changing its relationship with the rest of the world. I believe that our two countries can really work together and help each other for the challenges that are facing us in the future. From a designer's point of view is we are all connected and we must work together and we should work together, and there's nothing we can't solve or resolve through communication. Although we have no interest in being involved in politics, we do recognize that we're working in a politicized world. And this hasn't stopped us from continuing our good work here and collaborating with our clients. The view and the stories you read in newspapers are only a very small part of the picture, a very small part of the richness of the culture and the developments that you can see just by spending a week in Shanghai.
I'm not a politician, but I am quite aware of the discussion and the tension between China and Canada regarding a high-profile detainee in Vancouver and a couple of unfortunate migrants in China. And it's a tragic event as far as I'm concerned. My read on it is the sooner that we can figure out a solution to it, both of the countries that I love, Canada and China, are going to be much better off.
It's not a good situation, and the benefits of it disappearing far outweigh the negative consequences on so many levels. I can't see how it helps any Canadian in any way. and certainly doesn't help the two Michaels.
I understand that our two countries have some tensions right now over the holding of our respective citizens. And from each country's side, the situation seems pretty simple and clear-cut about how to resolve it. I would hope that both countries can come together with understanding and mutual respect, and ultimately respect for each other's citizens and taking care of each other. I believe that the resolution of this issue can bring our countries closer together.
I think that a positive or a good relationship between Canada and China is essential, and I think it's one of the most important things that we can work towards. And that's because when you have a good relationship between two countries, you have better understanding, and that allows people to have more experiences, to have more meaningful interactions with people that are different from themselves, and that just makes the world a better place.
We celebrate Canada on a regular basis, and of course on Canada Day.
I think the country has treated me well. I think I've treated the country well, made contributions technologically and as an employer of gainful, meaningful employment for some 300 people, and so it's been a great partnership. I'm a proud Canadian, happy as heck that I came here 23 years ago. My business has grown 10 times what it was when I started here, so it's been great for me socially, been great for me economically. We do benefit the world when we are prosperous in China.
We share a unity that's still, for the common people, it's still there.
Right now, being part of what's happening in China is a great joy, and is something that Canadians should be part of and take very seriously.
In all these years that Canadians have been in China, it hasn't always been bad times. There have been a lot of good times, and we built a lot of very important, warm relationships. Our companies have prospered. We've built families, and now's not the time to walk away. Now's the time to engage in an even deeper way by showing that we care and by showing our goodwill.
What a lovely, lovely movies about these Canadians, that they are like us. We come to Canada, have a flourished career, business, and life. And the things like this is going on, is continue going on daily. And if you have a dream, if you dare to dream, just to go, embrace, go to Shenzhen, go to China, or come to Canada, come to Toronto. Together, we can. I think we can make our dream come true. And just as I promised, we have a wonderful, wonderful panelist. And we're going to have 2 rounds of panel discussion. And first, just allow me to introduce our first round of guest speakers. So we have 6 fantastic guest speakers for the first round panel discussion. They are our MPP, Mr. Aris Fatikins, and the MPP, Ms. Daisy Y, the former Minister of the Research and Innovation Science, Mr. Riza Maradi, and Toronto City Councillor, Mr. Nick Mentis, and 2 Markham City Councillors, Amanda Clucci and Isa Lee. So welcome on stage, and we're going to have a talk about the technology, economic, and trade development between China and China and Canada, especially your outlook. Okay, please stand up on stage. Sorry, I have missed you. we also have the MPP, Mr. Billy Pong, joining us today. So seven fantastic guest speakers. Okay, so I have the questions. So the first question I'm going to address for the three MPP, the MPP Iris Babiking, MPP Miss Daisy Y, and also the Billy Pan. And we all know, just as the movie has shown to us, that we all know that a complicated involving diplomatic issues has just recently been resolved, and we hope the pandemic can end soon. So my question for three of you is that how do you envision the future relationship between Canada and China? So, lady first.
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm the MPP from Richmond Hill. 在这里，恭喜大家，姐姐今天那个聚会，我是回邱慧芳，就是安祥的省议员，就是荔枝岭山选区的。I just want to say, this decision, what you have organized is very good. Actually, a lot of the decision is being organized by the federal department, by the federal government. But I want to say, personally, share something about myself, what my personal experience is, and what is the need in my riding in Richmond Hill. My personal experience is, actually, in year 2000, I have been promoting Canada-China trade because I am a Chinese, as a Chinese, to promote the business between Canada and China is good for both Canada and China, which is why I started a Chinese Business Expo and Conference in year 2000. And at that time, I promoted it to the Prime Minister Sean Chrétien, and I say Chinese can be the trade bridge to China. And this has been working towards this direction for a while. And I'm so happy to see just now we have Michael, we have, Pathan, as well as Cameron. So I see all those exciting news from the Canadians, and this is what I mean by getting the Canada and Chinese working together. But coming to Richmond Hill, I'm seeing that there are a lot of people that is in Richmond Hill from the Chinese community. That is the business. That is the livelihood. And I can see because of pandemic, because of the recent challenges, the businesses suffered. And I really, on behalf of my people in Richmond Hill, I want to see things change around so that things can be better for my people in Richmond Hill. And thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. And Mr. Babikings, so you represent Scarborough, right?
Scarborough Agent Court.
Scarborough Agent Court. So what is your outlook for the future relation of these two giant countries?
First of all, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for the invitation. It is a great opportunity to have such conferences to discuss trade, because as the COVID pandemic proved to everyone that no economy, no country is an island on itself. It is an isolated. We have seen how we are interdependent on each other. And accordingly, we need to cooperate with each other. I mean, we have such a beautiful, successful outcome of this kind of relationship. We see some Canadians contributed to the economy in China. We see lots of Chinese contributing to economy of Canada. And so the issue is that we are interdependent on each other. And we need to respect each other's way of life, way of doing business. Yes, there will be difficulties. There will be some challenges. I cannot expect, and neither anyone can expect, that all of us, we will agree on everything. There will be disagreement, but there is a polite and civil way to solve these disagreements. for the benefit of our people. At the end, all of us, elected officials, business people, governments, all of us, we are working to the improvement of the quality of life to our residents, to our employees, and to our citizens. So the issue is that how do we move forward? Having said that we will have a disagreement, we will be able to move forward. We have to be honest with each other. We have to address each other, because any relationship based in honesty, in dealing and with each other, addressing the issues firsthand, head on, because otherwise, as some of our compatriots in China said, there are other ways than the media to address, solve issues. I am not criticizing the media, and I am one of the media personality in the past. I am involved with the National Ethnic Press and Media Council. I am involved with the Armenian newspapers in Canada and around the world. But I have to say, regrettably, there are some individuals in the media outlets, they sensationalize the issues. And that's not beneficial to anyone, to the business people, to the citizens, to the country. So coming back to Scarborough Agincourt, I see my good friend Tony Luck sitting there. He's a neighbor of mine. He's a successful businessman in Canada and in China. And we are neighbors in the same building at Shepherd and Kennedy. So I saw during the pandemic how the Chinese businesses, the Chinese organizations, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, they were there at the forefront helping Canadians to overcome the issue of PPEs. They were generous, and it comes from the sense of responsibility towards each other. So each country has its own cultural way of doing things, political way of doing things. We need to respect that interrelationship, and we need to move on to sit down, plan, and I am very confident that in the future will be much brighter. Canada is a country with its own record, excellent record, I should say, in dealing with the other countries. Canada is respected around the world as an independent country, as a country with its own independence, sovereignty. We cannot be dictated from other countries how to deal with our partners. So, having said all that, I think I will end my opening remarks here. If there are any further discussion down the road, dialogue, I will be quite happy to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bepkins. And so next, for Billy, would you like to share your visions? Is there anything more that your observations or your reflections about the future? How are we going to move forward?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Billy Pang, MPP for Markham Unionville, and on behalf of the Legislature of Ontario and my riding of Markham Unionville, thank you for this great event. So, as you may aware, since our government got elected in 2018, we have a clear message to the world. We are open for business. So business is business. So let's look at a few important numbers that no matter Ontarian or friends in Shenzhen may interest. We call them 10 reasons to think Ontario. Just like you presented earlier, so many reasons to think about Shenzhen, right? So Ontario is the second largest automotive manufacturer in North America, second largest IT cluster in North America, second largest financial hub in North America, second largest center for food processing in North America. Free trade deals with 51 countries, reaching 1.5 billion consumers. 70% of adults have post-secondary education. 55,000 STEM graduates every year. Employer healthcare contributions are 1/3 of the cost of the U.S. average. 10 business day work permit processing for highly skilled talent, and Ontario ranked among the best places to live and to work in North America. So when I was preparing for today's event, I want to conclude by, can I use Mandarin? 深圳全球招商大会，望临岸上展示活力，全是一盘棋，全日益展望的招商活动体系，让创新的动力，城市魅力和投资潜力，促进安生与深圳的商机。
Wow, I never envisioned a panel discussion can have such an entertainment side. Thank you so much. And so our next question I'm going to address for Mr. Morady. And I know when you were Minister of the Research and Innovation in the Science, you have witnessed a lot of successful collaborations between Shenzhen and Toronto, right? So would you like just to, based on the experience that we have, would you like to share that in the future, what kind of the focus or prioritize the project or fields that we could extend our wide-ranging business?
Well, thank you very much for the question. But I would like to begin by wishing all the best and all success to the for the 2021 Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference, which is going on. And with regard to your question, the province of Ontario and the municipality of Shenzhen, we have very many common features to share. Both jurisdictions, they are innovation jurisdiction. Shenzhen, as you noticed on the presentations before this morning, is the center for innovation in China. And the city of Toronto, in particular, and the province of Ontario, is the innovation province, not only in Canada, but when you compare it with the North American continent, province of Ontario is one of the top 3 or 4 jurisdictions in terms of innovation and economy. In terms of GDP, Ontario's GDP is around $800 billion, and the Shenzhen's GDP is also more or less the same number. So we have, in terms of population, though Shenzhen's population is almost maybe closer to twice as Ontario's population, but in terms of economy and in terms of innovation, there are so much similarities. Ontario, in terms of innovation, is one of the top 3 or 4 jurisdictions in Americas. In ICT, you just hear that information. Communication technology in Ontario and creating about $60 billion to our GDP with more than $10 billion in export. And the same is true with auto manufacturing, as you hear that. In terms of part manufacturing, actually some people think that Michigan is the biggest auto jurisdictions in America, but in fact in auto part manufacturing, it is Ontario which is the top jurisdictions. The cars are assembled in Michigan, but the parts mainly produced and manufactured in Toronto. And the same is true with Shenzhen. So there are lots of similarities between the 2 jurisdictions. But when it comes to relationship between China and Ontario, there's a strong bond between Ontario and indeed Canada and China. I mean, Canada was the first jurisdiction in Western world which recognized the People's Republic of China. And of course, other Western countries followed Canada's path. And not to mention many famous Canadians like Norman Betjeman, who is very popular and famous in China. So there are lots of ties between the two jurisdictions. But Ontario and China, at least when I was in the government, we established and signed agreements with the Ministry of Science and Technology of Federal Government of China, and then, of course, with municipalities of Shenzhen, Guangdong, the province of Jiangsu, and the city municipality of Tianjin. We set up a joint research innovation fund with the China's federal government. So there are lots of back and forth collaboration and very strong ties between both China and Ontario, and of course municipality of Shenzhen and Ontario. And I think the grounds is there, and we need just to work very hard to make sure that we materialize those very strong potential which exists in terms of business, in terms of innovation, research. Both jurisdictions are science-based economy, and we are very strong in that field. Our economy is science-based, and Shenzhen's economy is also science-based. So we need just to work very closely and collaborate with each other and make progress for the interest of both Shenzhen and Ontario and China and Canada. Thank you very much, Shishia.
Thank you, Mr. Morelli. All I could conclude is that opportunities boundless. Okay, so Amanda, I know you have the background in business before you become a city councilor, and now you work for city council in Markham. It is also a technology capital, right? So, and you speak Cantonese, you know about Shenzhen. So how do you envision that? Is there any kind of particular field that we should prioritize for the future cooperations?
Well, thank you very much. And like you said, that the city of Markham is really the high-tech capital city in Canada. And the city of Markham also have like 1,500 high-tech jobs, and also providing 37 jobs in our communities from all the businesses like, say, IBM, Motorola, and we have a lot of high-tech companies in city of Markham. And when it comes to Shenzhen and city of Markham, there's a lot of similarities. I've been to Shenzhen many times. I love the city, I love the people, and I love the food, and the fast-paced community is absolutely amazing. And how fast do they grow? And also, similar to city of Markham, we also have a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing food, and also is also very, very fast-paced, growing city as well. And the key similarities between the two cities is really lies within the high-tech area, like biotechnologies and also communications. And not to mention that, actually, city of Markham is also going to have one Markham studio here as well. Yes, so that is also another area that will be also growing, which is in the creative industry. And obviously, with the creative industry, also require lots of support from technologies as well. So clearly, when we see a lot of movies, such as, some of the really famous superhero movies, that they require a lot of technologies to create those special effects. So those are really going hand in hand. And aside from technologies, I must also mention about the cultural side as well. City of Markham has the largest Chinese population, probably within York region, and maybe even close to city of Toronto as well. And with that cultural aspect, and I can see that there's a lot of opportunities to forge a better and more important relationships within Shenzhen. And I do look forward to seeing more delegates, from city of Shenzhen in the future coming to visit city of Markham. And clearly, once the pandemic is over, I would want to go back to Shenzhen many times again. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. We're looking forward to. So besides the high tech, we also for the culture, for the entertainment industry. And we have so many opportunities waiting for us. And the next question is for Mendes, Mr. Nick. So you are from Toronto. So we talk a lot about a provincial level. So we have built a 5-year long-term friendship relationship between Toronto and Shenzhen. So how do we continue that? How do you envision the future specifically between Toronto and Shenzhen?
Well, thank you for the question. Good morning to everyone. 大家好. As being the counselor for Scarborough Agincourt, right, the neighbor right under the city of Markham, we are in the position of, as we have the arrangement between Toronto and Shenzhen, as the Deputy Mayor had said, we look forward for the economic relation to flourish. And as the city is growing, and after the pandemic, we've seen that as Toronto is an economic cluster, but also the tech cluster in that triangle between Toronto, Shenzhen, and Vancouver. There are so many tech companies and startups that are building in Toronto, and as seeing that Shenzhen being the Silicon Valley of China and the GTA being the Silicon Valley of the North, there are over 14,000 high-tech companies in Shenzhen that are working for advancing technology and the relations between Canada and China. Now, having the opportunity in the past of traveling to China, I've seen firsthand the economic, diplomatic, and business relationships between our two countries, and we need these relationships to flourish and to prosper. Now, Toronto being also having capacities in different sectors, we see that there's a well-established in education, ICT, environmental technologies, life sciences, and advanced manufacturing. And Scarborough Agincourt, as being right under the city of Markham on the border, we have our data centers as well as manufacturing that we can promote high-tech and clean-tech solutions and technologies. So just to end, I would like to thank everyone for this opportunity and have a great continuation for the summit.
Thank you, Nick. And Isa, so I'm not trying to steal the Shenzhen from Toronto with us, but is there any kind of the possibility that we're going to establish the economic relation between Markham and Shenzhen?
Well, again, once again, thank you so much for having me. I'm Isa Lee, Ward 8 Councillor at the City of Markham. So, thanks for the question. As our colleague Amanda already mentioned, Markham actually it's not just a high-tech capital, but also one of the most diverse city in Canada. So, other than high-tech industry that a lot of us had already been mentioned, I guess most important thing definitely is the people. We got not just Chinese population, the most population we've got the most population, Chinese population in the city of Markham, but then the other diverse race, actually that builds up what Markham is. So I guess the welcoming environment in general, basically it's one of the beneficial thing, the environment that creates people that are welcoming everyone to come do business in the city with the city. Another thing is, as a lot of you guys know, City of Markham welcomes and it's open for business. Again, we got a lot of high tech, not just high tech, green energy is one of our major hope that a lot more, we will hope to have a lot more cooperation and partnership with other companies who are investing on green energy. And again, also Tesla, we got news, Tesla is coming to Markham. A lot of not just high tech, but other different resources or R&D, a lot of industries are actually in Markham, basically in this area as well. We heard a lot of testimonies and sharings from Michael and also Mr. Paladi, whose company is also here in Markham. So manufacturing parts, a little parts, manufacture, it's also a key part with the city of Markham. We got a lot of different types of plants and industries here. And one of the things I can foresee, we were going to have more collaboration and we welcome more partnerships is the pharmaceutical part. From what I observed in my work here in Markham, we are having, since the pandemic, we have more and more companies who are actually having their plants here, manufacturing PPEs, sanitizers, like masks, etc. So it's also in Markham. I've been to some of those plants and their factories, and also producing supplements like health products, also here in Canada, in Markham. So I guess beside people, beside the industry, the welcoming environment overall in general, actually we are hoping to have more businesses with people outside Canada. So I guess Shenzhen and Markham share a lot of common qualities. We got the diverse population. We got the vision, similar vision on investing on green energy, and also like a vibrant community that we all can work, live, and play in the same area. So, and also, as we see the videos, Shenzhen got a lot of like high buildings, tall and very nice design buildings. All are actually greatly invested on as like green technology. And it's actually, this is a very good thing, and it actually matches Markham's vision. On the development side, actually we welcome a lot more like fancier and actually greener design to come to Markham, like in terms of like buildings for the high-rise developments. So I guess for future, I'm actually very, very hopeful that we will not just maintain the ties between Markham and Shenzhen in terms of development and trade partnerships, but that would definitely be more room to improve, and that definitely be more better in terms of relationship. Yeah.
Thank you for being a really good ambassador for Markham. And we're looking forward. There are more and more ties being built, and we forge a better relationship between Shenzhen and City of Toronto, City of Markham, and Ontario Province. Thank you so much. I just want to, just behalf of our co-organizers, and thank you all just to take the business schedules and make your time here to join us. And thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Okay, now please take your seat off the stage. Okay, so if anyone have your greeting letters with you at hand, can I invite some of the directors from the CCSA to come on stage to get the greeting letters from our government leaders, and also have the group pictures together. Can you just stand beside the leaders? Thank you so much. Okay, please take your seat off the stage, and our assistant to help us to move the chairs. And now let's move on to our second round of the panel discussion. We're going to focus on the future between Toronto and Shenzhen in trade and tech and innovations. And let me introduce our four guest panelists. Okay, the first one is Mr. Michael Wang, the CEO of the TapLock, and he already shared the amazing stories with us before. When we know the TapLock was ranked the top 10 Canadian startups by the Mega Bridge. Okay, wonderful. And the second is Miss Dana Zhang, the VP of the Scotiabank, honorary president of the CCFA. And our third guest speaker or the panelist is Dr. Haixing Chen, the CEO of the ACGT. ACGT is a leader in Canada's DNA industry. Nice to have you, Dr. Chen. And the last one is Mr. Malati, the CEO of the Microinterface Design and the GP at Archangel Networks of Founds. Okay, we have to question it with the order. Please be seated. Okay, I would like to start with Michael because you start your dream because of this, that you are the champion, the very, very first champion of the Science Innovations competition. That is one of the fruits we said or accomplished that based on the friendship relationship between Toronto and the Shenzhen. So could you just share a little bit more about that? How did that empower the TapLock? Especially, how do you take off in Shenzhen?
So I think there's two major takeaways from attending SCI Innovation competition. And one of the most important things is as a hardware tech startup founder, when you go to Shenzhen to manufacture, how do you start? When you land in Shenzhen, who do you speak to? And how do you navigate around so many different suppliers that are in the field? And at SCI competition in Shenzhen, there's a lot of representatives from different districts who are there, local VCs, local media outlets, and it's really a good landing spot for tech founders to attend because you get a lot of local exposure, you get your name out there in the local ecosystem, and through that you're able to find the strong partners that Palin talked about that was very critical for establishing presence there. So it really gives you this strong starting point. So instead of starting from nothing, you're now starting with a network of people that you know that are credible, that know about your business, that can introduce you to a lot of different people. So I think that's invaluable in accelerating that learning process from first landing in Shenzhen. And the second thing, I think more importantly, that TapLock really benefited is from knowing all these different peers in the tech scene, both locally here from Toronto, because you have the best tech companies join in the competition, as well as tech founders in China. And that friendship that we've built over the course of the competition, where we lived together, we ate together, we attended different galas and events together in Shenzhen, really helped strengthen that, and that became a very invaluable network for TapLock, where we received actually a lot of investor introductions, and some of them materialized into our investments. So I think overall it's a really good resource for tech founders and startups to help strengthen their relationship with Shenzhen and make the leap into the local ecosystem there.
Thank you, Michael. We know that a startup is never a sprint. It is sometimes a march or a marathon. So we wish you all the best, and we can always learn from this successful story like the TapLock. So to find the right person, find the right resources, find the right platform, and then probably it's easier to find the right path to lead to your success. And Mr. Matali, Mr. Matali, and we know that you have lived in China. You have done many business with Chinese companies. So would you like to share a little kind of the experience for the people who, especially for the Canadian company, if we want to expand our business there in China? Any kind of the tricks?
I guess first step is to understand the market that you're entering, the culture barrier that is there, and also the ways that to overcome these culture barriers that you have as far as business that we're doing here and the size of business there, the speed that is there and the speed that we're working here. There are things that I wish I was educating myself before I go to China for the first time. You know, as any entrepreneur, I jumped on a flight and went directly to China and started learning the hard way. But it's understanding this, a local partner, as I mentioned before, how important is that, and also relying on more and more information that is available. Something that I want to share is Shenzhen and China is moving so fast that my experience in 2012 might not be that relevant today because everything has changed and there's more information available today compared to when we started. But rely on that and understand the size of the business. One of the things that I can say that to many startups that we invest these days is, if you want to make something in quantity of 100, you don't need to go to China at the beginning because it doesn't make sense for the manufacturer there to make 100 units. It doesn't make sense for them. Versus makes sense here, but if you want to make 100,000 or 1 million of something, or then it makes sense to dog, and everything is set up there to capture. So just understanding these dynamics would help quite a bit to get into that.
To know ourselves better and then to know the market better. And thank you so much for the sharing. And to the gentleman besides you, Dr. Chen, I know you're going to expand your business. I know you have done really good here in Canada, over 20 years business in the leaders in the DNA industry. So now if you go to China, is there any kind of the challenges that you are envisioning that you're going to face up? And because we have so many leaders from the government part, what kind of the support or policies that you want to get from our government part?
I don't think I have a challenge with the gentleman next to me. I'm grew up in China. I graduated from the top medical school in China. In the last 35 years, I only did one thing, genetic research. I did 2 years in Harvard, did several years in the UBT, and I did several years in Canadian Genetic Disease Network, and I did 20 years in my own company. I visited Shenzhen many times, and outside the world, think about China, think about Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen. And Beijing is now for business. Shanghai is too expensive. Usually set up close to the universities. And now we can think about Shenzhen is a big university, never short of a talent. So these speakers, they already share their successful story in Shenzhen. I'm not yet, but I'm ready and willing to set up in Shenzhen.
So no challenges, only looking forward. There are great expectations. Yes. So we also wish you the best luck. And for Diana, we know you're coming from a financial industry and you have witnessed a lot of the good or successful stories. But from financial part, so what do you think that we can help the Canadian company or Chinese companies to expand their business between in both countries.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful conference. I'm really pleased to be here. How bank can help? Really, bank is a partner for all the business. Doesn't matter you're doing the business in Canada or in China. Really consider that the bank is the partner to help you to grow and expand. The three things I want to focus in today's. First of all, we providing the full service for financing. And secondly is we manage the costs in the low risk and the low cost way. The third is customization. We're providing customized financing service to satisfy all kinds of business needs. Let's first start with full service. Full service, it means starting the opening account, manage the payment, manage the expense, cash flow, foreign exchange risk, satisfy the all business, all kinds of financing needs. Secondly, for the low cost and the low financings, for the business operator international-wise, there is subject to unique needs, such as manage foreign exchange, manage the financing need, payment in foreign country. We have unique product to satisfy that need. For instance, foreign exchange automatizations, foreign exchange hedge. For the low secured payment methods, bank have the letter of credit and the payment upon receipt, all kinds of specialized payment methods. And at the end, for financing, and really we help the business reduce the financing costs. For instance, by providing the bank guarantees and the customized financing need. With all the goals actually help the business to getting financing and in low cost fashions. At the end, because the business had a unique need at a different business stage and life cycles, we're providing all kinds of customizations. Doesn't matter you are in the stage of start up and growing or expanding or merger acquisitions or go to public. Really, so we are here to providing advice and service. Help you the merger acquisitions going public, have the public and debt servicing need. At the end, really consider bank is the customers and the partner work together with you. The most important is starting the dialogue and communication. We are here to help and we are here to grow together with your business.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. We know for no matter what kind of the stage we are, finance and financial industry, we can't live without you. Even from the startup stage or grow up or scale up stage, we need you. So definitely we have to see together and hand in hand. And thank you so much for all these 4 great panelists to share their inspiring words with us. And we hope that if you have the dream, if you want to do something, and if you want to do something bigger, talk to them, contact them. And I think there will be more opportunities that we could work together to give a bright future for us. And that is the beauty of this conference. So thank you so much for taking your time and your efforts to contributions for us. Thank you so much. And this is the end of the panel discussion. Take your seat. So thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dr. Chen. Thank you, Mr. Matali and Michael. So this wonderful thing about the Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference. Now, it is just the international perspective our guest speakers has bring to us. And now, this is a time when it is a global business partnership, new investment, and vitally the startup ventures that help this work back to normal, back to a sustained growth. And we are going to forge this partnership, and we're going to enhance more investment and collaborations, and think about the future of the Shenzhen and Toronto. And we are here for you. We are always here, and welcome you with the enthusiastic welcome. So that is what we are going to do, and we're going to continue doing. So thank you everyone for the participation of the 2021 Shenzhen Global Investment Promotion Conference, and we are looking forward to have a more successful event next year. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Thank you, and take care.